Hi, my name is Ed Harris, and today I'm going to be making a healthy Asian salad with a roasted chicken. And the cool thing about healthy food is the fact that it doesn't need to be very hard to make. It's very simple, and this recipe is very straightforward, so it should not take a lot of time or prep or energy to create. The reason I'm doing that is just so that it's easier for you to peel the garlic. So smashing it like that just takes the skin off very easily, especially since you're going to chop it. So crushing it like that also just adds to the cutting process. So for the next stage of the dish, we're going to get all the ingredients together. So the chopped garlic, we'll add that to a mixing bowl. And then also we have the spices. First one is the coriander, ground coriander. Add that to the bowl. White pepper. And then we have our cinnamon. And then also the cloves. For a little healthier version, if you want to take out the skin of the chicken, you can. You don't have to. But this dish is about healthy cooking, so trimming some skin off is definitely a good way to go. And you don't necessarily have to get all the skin off, but just some of it would help. And this is pretty much how you would get the skin off. Very simple process. Just kind of cut around here. And make a slip. It's very easy. And once you start taking the skin off, you could just add it to the bowl. You always want to make sure you're very careful because, handling chicken, because of all the fat, your hands can be a little slippery. So just be mindful of that as you're handling your chicken and your knife. So now, since we have about 6 pieces of chicken in here, we're going to add salt to taste, and this is depending on how you like to season your protein. So you'll just add enough salt to give you the flavor that you're looking for. And you'd add your oil, and we're going to just mix this together. So for the second part of the dish, we're going to get ready the pasta. And you always want to remember to salt your water. And since this is angel hair pasta, it's not going to take that long, maybe about 3 minutes to cook. So according to the recipe, depending on the type of pasta you use, a couple minutes before the pasta is ready, you're going to add your carrots in to just give it a little bit more heat and kind of cook it so it's not 100% crunchy. So for the last step of the pasta is just cooling it down. So you're gonna just run cold water over it until it ices down all the way. You can add a little bit of hot water, not hot water, you can add a little bit of ice if you want to help cool it down, just depending on if you forgot to cook, forgot to take it off so your time is a little over. Otherwise, just cold water will be fine. Alright. That's it. A cool trick to do with the pasta, if you're not going to use it right away or the same day, would be just to add a little bit of oil, olive oil, and just toss your pasta in it, and it'll keep it from clumping up. So since the chicken has been marinating for about 30 minutes or so, you can definitely have it marinating for longer. It'll have more flavor. But we are now going to just take a little bit of the oil that you use to make the marinade and just kind of coat your sheet tray so your chicken doesn't stick. If you have Pam or any kind of non-stick spray at home, you can use that also. So these are going to go into the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes depending on size of chicken and temperature of your oven. So right into the oven, and you want to put these on the bottom rack. So for the pasta part of the dish, this salad is very simple. The ingredients are very minimal, and a few tricks as you're doing this particular salad is, one, the vegetables that we're using, they're all cut, and you want to just put them in ice cold water. It just adds to a really nice effect. It gives you a bite to it, and it also just kind of takes out any of the taste that you wouldn't preferably like. For instance, with the scallions, that oniony kind of flavor that you would get from eating a raw scallion, if you're to soak it in water, rinse it out a few times, it'll take that away, and all you're left with is just a beautiful scallion flavor. So to make the dressing, we're going to just add all the liquid ingredients together in a bowl. So that's the soy sauce, and then the sesame oil, and then the plum sauce, chili flakes, and then we'll add salt, but we'll add it to the end just in case we don't need a lot. We'll wait till we add the noodles to it and the vegetables. And being that the vegetables are high in water content, you'll definitely want to measure out your salt so you know exactly how much salt to add to it. So here's the pasta. It's ice cold. As you can see, the carrots are mixed in it and they're not overcooked. They're still kind of firm. We're going to add this in here. And then we're also going to add the snow peas. These were fresh. You could definitely have frozen ones and use that in place, but I like to use as many fresh ingredients as possible. It just adds to the whole healthy cooking in general. With the vegetables that you sit in the ice cold water, you want to take them out and just kind of drain them. You want to drain them so you're not using any of this extra water and diluting the flavor of your dressing. The cool thing about the scallions is that you don't necessarily have to mix it into your pasta salad. You can use it as a garnish, which I'll show you. So this is just one other way of using the scallions in the dish. And with this particular recipe, you could definitely add more vegetables if you like. If you're a vegetarian or just a vegetable fanatic and you wanted to add some red onions or white onions, you totally can. Any kind of string beans, if you wanted to add some bean sprouts, you could also add that to it. With adding more ingredients, you definitely then want to adjust the salt and the flavor. So you might need to add a little bit more plum sauce or a little bit more soy. It just depends. But the beautiful thing about cooking is that it's all about feeling. So definitely, even though you have a recipe, everyone's going to make it differently. So it's just a matter of you fine-tuning it to your personal preference. So you can tell when this is incorporated because the color of the pasta kind of just changes a little bit, and you can tell that the sauce just coats everything. So with this, now we're going to add the peppers since they're dried off enough. Okay, so for plating, if you're making this for dinner, then you don't have to put everyone's portion on a plate. You could just get a really nice big bowl or plate and just kind of serve it that way. Now for the last touch, So for the scallions, you want to separate them, and then you're going to just kind of let them fall around the plate. So this is what you're looking for, you know, golden. It's definitely not going to get a lot of color, especially since we took the skin off. The skin will give you that golden brown. So right now, the spices is what's going to give us our color. So these chickens have been in here for about 35 minutes or so, give or take. And we're going to just let them sit for a second before we take them off and transfer them onto our plate. So for plating at home, nothing fancy, nothing out of the ordinary. We're going to just kind of stack them up together so they look presentable. And kind of interchange them so that way they fit closely together with less space. And then for our universal garnish, which we just used, you can actually still just use this on here, and it just makes it look really pretty. Instead of throwing it away, if you have any extra, just reuse it.